Since that shooting at Robb Elementary School back in May, federal and state leaders have taken steps in the hopes of preventing more tragedies.
The KVUE defenders looked into how current and new policies are meant to protect students and school staff. And some worry that they fail to address the root problem. Here's investigative reporter Jenny Lee.
I'm worried about everything.
The start of the new school year is nerve-wracking for James and Melissa Tullis.
There's the obvious straight up school shooting safety concerns.
With 2 children attending Dripping Springs ISD,
what do we do now?
They're anxious after 19 students and 2 teachers were gunned down at Robb Elementary in Uvalde in May, despite actions taken by elected officials.
While they may be individual little improvements, aren't going to really make a difference.
Those improvements came after Governor Greg Abbott allocated $105.5 million for school safety and mental health initiatives in June. The items with the biggest price tags include $50 million for bullet-resistant shields and $17.1 million for school districts to buy silent panic alert technology. Here's how one version works. Raptor Technologies' Silent Panic Alert system is web-based, so any authorized personnel can use a cell phone, laptop, or desktop to initiate a lockdown and contact first responders quietly. But the alert it sends is anything but. David Rogers is the Chief Marketing Officer for Raptor Technologies. He counts more than 5,000 school districts nationwide as customers, including several in Texas.
It immediately opens up an administrative and a general chat. I've been sitting there with an administrator at a conference, and they have a gas leak at their school, and he is able to communicate with everybody at the site.
Rogers says the Silent Panic Alert system also runs off cellular data. The House Investigative Committee report into the Robb Elementary School shooting cited poor Wi-Fi coverage as a reason some teachers and administrators didn't get notifications. The report showed that Uvalde Consolidated ISD started using Raptor's alert system in March of 2022. It also showed the school district had used Raptor's visitor management system for 10 years.
The technology itself, in terms of being able to notify and quickly get out alerts, works very well.
Before the House report, Governor Abbott charged the Texas School Safety Center to conduct several safety reviews, including in-person, unannounced random intruder detection audits on school districts. According to a Texas School Safety Center spokesperson, inspectors are expected to take training in August before starting the intruder audits in September. The spokesperson also said the assessments will test access control protocols and will not simulate intrusions. Since 2019, Texas school districts have been required to create behavioral threat assessment teams. The groups are charged with identifying students who pose a threat. School districts are also supposed to have emergency plans in place. Senate Bill 11 was passed in 2019 after the mass shootings at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, and Santa Fe High School in Santa Fe, Texas. 17 people were gunned down in Parkland, and 10 people lost their lives in Santa Fe. Senate Bill 11 allowed districts to harden schools or increase the physical safety of schools. At Buda Elementary in Hays County, school officials take school hardening seriously.
So typically what you're going to see is probably going to be an area right here.
Jerry Scrocky is Hays Consolidated ISD's Director of Safety and Security. She shows us how new law enforcement workstations will be set up at all 15 elementary schools.
But it's really primarily for them to write reports.
It's an incentive for law enforcement presence on campuses. This is on top of existing security measures like a card access system for doors that remain locked throughout the day.
The only way you can get out of this door is for me to use my proxy card in order to scan it.
There's also a safety vestibule or an area where visitors wait until staff members grant access. Guests are then met with a visitor management system that checks IDs.
This is exactly what I was telling you.
We also wanted to examine classroom doors and locks.
We don't have interior locking mechanisms on our doors because our policy is doors stay locked all the time.
For Buda Elementary and the other 14 elementary campuses, Scrocky says the district plans to hire 3 law enforcement officers to patrol them this school year. adding to the district's 12 school resource officers contracted with the Hays County Sheriff's Office. Scrofty's office is also expanding, getting extra manpower to maintain safety and security.
I feel 100% confident that the systems we have in place are going to do what we expect them to do and are going to keep our staff and our students safe. 100%.
U.S. Senator Ted Cruz backs school hardening. His latest bill, Protect Our Children's School Act, would allow schools to use previously unspent federal COVID-19 education-related funding to improve school security. The senator joined KVUE in July to discuss it.
It seems to me a common sense step to say that if those funds are available, it is a real priority to make our schools safer. We keep seeing these horrific crimes of lunatics targeting our kids. All of us want to see our kids safer.
We reached out to two groups that represent educators and public school employees to get their reaction on the new school safety proposals.
I think the fact that we're going to do some auditing of those is a good thing because the more that we can hold folks accountable, the more things are going to get done.
Shannon Holmes is the executive director of the Association of Texas Professional Educators. The former superintendent says he knows firsthand that safety audits work. Clay Robinson with the Texas State Teachers Association isn't as sure.
I mean, you got to do more than lock your doors, and you got to do more than do audits. The bottom line is the availability of guns to people who should not have them. And that is what the governor and the legislative majority refuse to do. They refuse to even talk about it.
Robinson's group is fighting for gun reform, like raising the minimum age from 18 to 21 to buy assault-type weapons. He knows any gun reform is an uphill battle in Texas, but it's something Melissa Tullis says is way overdue.
I grew up shooting guns. I grew up hunting. I knew people. I went to school with people who would have had a serious protein deficiency in their diet if not for hunting. I mean, they relied on deer hunting to get meat. But you do not use an AK-47 to go hunting.
Because after 34 mass shootings in Texas from January 1st through August 2nd of this year, the Tullis hope lawmakers will take up gun control when the legislative session starts in January.
If guns don't belong in the school, they don't belong with anybody in the school.
For the KVUE Defenders, I'm Jenny Lee.
Jenny, thanks. Another part of hardening schools includes the School Marshal Program. That allows Texas school districts to arm teachers. According to the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, as of July 25th, there are 256 marshals in 62 school districts across the state. There are more than 1,200 school districts in Texas.